Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Sumukascha ekadantascha kapilo gajakarnakaha lambodharascha vikato vignarajo vinayakaha धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः शूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये यस्यद्वरदवक्त्राद्या पारिषद्या परस्ततं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. With Bhagavan's grace, let us continue from where we left off yesterday. We were in Sutra number 56. Talks about, Narada says, on the basis of characteristics, the bhakti, which is not the bhaktis of gopis, right? But on the process of attaining that, it has got three types, which is Sattvika Bhakti, Rajasic Bhakti, and Tamasic Bhakti. Now, if you go on the basis of Arthadi Bedadva, which is Arthi, Jignasu, Artharthi, and Jnani, there are four types. That is the Sutra number 56. Now, in 57, the question comes, now, I am not at a stage in my bhakti where the gopikas were, which is the example, right? That is Paraprema bhakti. On the process of attaining that, now my bhakti is tainted, is mixed with these gunas. So, which one is really better? Right? Which one is really giving me the progress that I want? If you want to ask that question, Narada answers that. Uttarasmate purva sreyaya bhavati. Sutra number 57. Uttarasmate purva sreyaya bhavati. Uttarasmate. That means the thing that is coming behind, okay, compared to that, purva, the one that is before that sreyaya is better, is more beneficial, bhavati, sreyaya bhavati. What does this mean? Rajasic bhakti is more beneficial in terms of attaining the final goal than Tamasic Bhakti. And Sattvika Bhakti is more beneficial than Rajasic Bhakti. Same way, compared to a person who's seeking money and wealth and possessions, a person who seeks knowledge is superior. And better than him, more superior in terms of the attainment of the final goal of the Parabhakti, better than this person who's seeking knowledge, which is Jignasu, is the person who surrenders to Bhagavan because he's suffering from so much difficulties all the time. He has no other place to go. Now, Bhagavan says in Gita that all these four types of bhaktas are only sukritaha, that they only do good things. They are all very good actually. Among them, Jnani is the dearest to me. That's what he says. So in Bhagavatam, we all know, in Kunti Stuti, and we all have what is she? She says, when I am having difficulties and troubles, and I am crying because of that, or the pain and the difficulties and the challenges, how are my tears removed? They are removed by your darshan. Because your darshan, I get your darshan when I have these tears of difficulties and miseries and challenges. Let more and more difficulties and challenges and miseries come my way. That way, I will always have your darshan with me, is what Kunti prays to Krishna Bhagavan. And among the 4 types, Arti, Jignasu, Artharthi, and finally Jnani. Jnani is the one that is closest. And Bhagavan says, in fact, he is me itself. Mameva, he says. He is very dear to me. And there is no difference between that Jnani and me, is what Bhagavan says. That's the final attainment. Sutra number 58. Anyasmat Saulabhyam Bhaktau. Anyasmat Saulabhyam Bhaktau. Very interesting. Now we talked about bhakti, what happens, and all these various things, the sadhanas and all the things. Narada very quickly told us, and then he says, "Don't worry. You may not have the devotion, the ripened devotion of Anida Sharanam Nasti Ananyas Chintayaha. We may not have that. Don't worry. You're still a bhakta. You're going this way, and bhakti can be along this path. Understand it. If you got a tamasic bhakti, then you got to overcome that through rajasic bhakti. Like that, we move forward. And then, everything sounds very difficult. How to do, almost, is it something that is possible for me to do? Those questions come in our mind, just bhakti. But then, to answer that, he says in Sutra 58, Anyasmat Saulabhyam Bhaktau. Anyasmat, compared to all the other pathways, whether you're talking of Anapeksha Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, whatever you want to, there are infinite ways to embrace the Lord. And among all those pathways, Bhaktau in the Bhakti Margam only, Saulabhyam, it is the easiest to embrace Bhagavan, easiest to obtain Him, is Bhakti, is the easiest. Especially even among Bhakti, we saw earlier in our preparatory discussion before we started Narada Bhakti Sutra, Prapaddi is even easier. Always remember that. Give up everything to Bhagavan, He will take care. That attitude. And in fact, in Vishnu Puranam, it says very nicely, Dhyayan Krute Yajan Yajnai Tretayam Vaparehe Archayan Yadapnoti Tadapnoti Kalau Sangitya Kesavam. In Krita Yugam, the mode of embracing Bhagavan prescribed, people followed Dhyanam. Dhyayan Krita Yugam, in Dhyanam. In Treta Yugam, Yajan Yajnai Tretayam. In Treta Yugam, people were doing Yahangal, Homam and Havan and lots of Somayagam and Aswamedha Yagam and all that. Many things in Treta Yugam. What happened in Dwapara Yugam? Dwaparehe Archayan. In Dwapara Yugam, Archana was the mode that was not prescribed, but people were employing. Whereas in Kali Yugam, all the things that these people attained in these various ways, whether it is Dhyanam or performing Yagam or Archana or whatever in various other Yugams, in Kali Yugam, they can attain the same thing by simply singing the name of Kesava, singing the name of Bhagavan. And Kesava Sankirtyam, Kesava is an appellation for, it is Ka, Sha and Va, that denotes the entity that creates, protects and also dissolves. Remember that. Okay, that's why the Kesava appellation is beautifully used there. That's what Vishnu Puranam says. Bhakti is the easiest. Now, what does Bhagavan say in Bhagavad Gita? If you look at Adhyayam number 9, and which is Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga, and then you look at Slokam number 2. Okay? And says very beautifully, this knowledge is the crown of all knowledges. It is the most important among all that remains unknown. The because bhakti is the easiest. People don't realize it. And when you take the path of bhakti to love God, love Bhagavan for Bhagavan's sake. And when you do that, it purifies and you can experience it firsthand. You don't have to go through a book, you don't have to go through discourses and pravachanams and stuff like that. No, you experience it right there instantly. The moment you love Bhagavan, you experience firsthand, and it is always beneficial. Always. There is no contrary effect to it. There is no regression. There is no contrary effect. There is only benefit. Even the smallest step gives you huge benefits. And it is easy to practice and is never destroyed. Susukham kartum is what Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. Susukham. Sukham means easy. Okay? And susukham, very easy. Kartum, to do, very easy. And avyayam, you cannot destroy it. Once you start on that, it is so, because it is love. Because to love is our natural thing. More natural than the work we do. More natural than the breathing we do is to love, to be loving. That is the one that activates the breathing, that activates the actions we do, all our abilities. The most natural thing, fundamental thing is love, prema. That is bhakti. Just turn that bhakti to God instead of turning it to all the other things. We are being very loving, whether you realize it or not. Even a selfish person, he loves himself. A miserly person loves the money, right? And so like that you can go through. So loving is something we do naturally. But the target we are doing in the wrong way. Just turn it to God. That becomes bhakti. It's the easiest to do and never destroyed. Is what the 9.2 Bhagavad Gita as well as Sutra number 58. Anyasmat saulabhyam. Very easy, this bhakti. Now 59. We talked about, Bhagavan says very easy to experience personal, first hand and all that. And then what happens? How do you do it? Does it depend upon, for you to love God, do you have to depend on something else? That's what 59 Narada teaches us. He clarifies it. He said, Pramana antarasya anapekshatvat swayam pramanatvat. Pramana antarasya anapekshatvat. Anapeksham is a yoga prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. Beautiful. It is giving up, don't desire things that don't belong to you. Apeksha means to grab things that belong to others. And anapeksha means not to do that. Right? That is very important. Because everything belongs to Bhagavan. Don't grab it. It's not yours. Don't claim the doership and the credit coming from doing a job well done. No, that is Bhagavan. Like that we must think. Every item, this anapeksha is very important. Even so much so, there's a beautiful anecdote, a story given in Bhagavatam in Parikshit's time when he was ruling with such a stickler for dharma by his own conduct, not just preaching. He was Trikarana Suddhi, the following the path of dharma, the dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. So when you follow dharma, that dharma will protect you. This is what Kausalya tells Rama before he goes to the forest, right? Parikshit's thing, everything was so pristine and dharmic that even the wind was afraid to move a piece of leaf from the road, because for the fear of being blamed for thievery. It was so good it was. Like you don't take things that don't belong to you. Don't grab it. That is anapeksham. So, pramana antarasya anapekshatvat. What does it mean? That means antarasya, the support of other, antarasya, pramanam, the support of other pramanangal. Anapekshatvat, no, not needed. It is very indifferent, doesn't grab it. It is not needed. So, bhakti does not depend upon other pramanams. So, what is it depend upon? What is it then? It is swayam pramanatvat. It is pramanam for its own self. Now the question comes. For some of you, you may wonder, what is this word pramanam? It has been used twice. Pramanam and all that. What is this? So, there are, you can say pramanam, one way to very crudely put is proof. Okay? And there are three types. Pratyaksha pramanam, anumana pramanam, and agama pramanam. Pratyaksha pramanam, anumana pramanam, agama pramanam. This is what is given in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And so what is pratyaksha pramanam? Is something that you experience firsthand. So then you have the proof. Nobody need to tell you that. Nobody can counter that, right? And you don't have to argue about it. You don't have to convince somebody what you have experienced, right? You know that is the truth. That's the pratyaksha pramanam. First-hand experience, you get the truth that way. And second one, anumana pramanam. So then you try to get a proof of understanding. It may not be truth, but the one. This is very interesting. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. That is a inviolable statement of truth. I mean, there is no way you can get around it. That is the truth. So what you experience firsthand, that's an unshakable truth. And what each one of us experiences firsthand, if you just take a fraction of a second and look into it calmly, you will find that you are experiencing only prema. Because we are all fountainheads of prema only. We are all forms of prema only. Love. That's what we are giving all the time. And but we don't realize it. That truth is pratyaksha pramanam. Then second one is, Bhagavan has given us what is known as deductive intelligence. Intelligence, it's not the buddhi, but the mind that understands things, right? And understanding is never 100% certain. It's always mixed with a tinge of doubt, because you cannot understand things with 100% certainty. It is not possible, right? You have to put a limitation on your understanding to arrive at some kind of a clarity in understanding. We all know that in whatever field you take. Okay? The anumana pramanam is using the deductive ability, and it kind of deduces, oh, this is happening, therefore it must be like this. That kind of a proof, that is called anumana pramanam. Example would be, when you see smoke, immediately you deduce that there must be fire, because the smoke is not produced without fire, right? So that kind of a thing is anumana pramanam. Now, there is a third type of proof. That is agama pramanam. In agama pramanam, what is it agama? It means now all the rishis who have given us Vedangal, raso vaisaha, one rishi says that. He says, this entity is present as the essence in everything. That's a statement he makes. Now, do I know that? Personally, no. But I take his experience of these Mahanubhavas as the proof. And that is agama pramanam. So these are the three types. And this agama pramanam is also called sabdham or abdavakya. Sabdham means, in this case, it is Vedangal. Okay? And abdavakya. Now, whereas a bhakta, whether it is Prahlada or Dhruva or Tyagaraja, whoever you think of, they experience Bhagavan first hand. So that becomes Pratyaksha Pramanam. That is why when Hiranyakasipu was doing all this, Prahlada was least bit disturbed. Because his experience was different. Pratyaksham, he was experiencing Shiva Narayana everywhere. So that's a Pramanam. So these types of Pramanangal, and that's why Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita calls Bhakti as a Pratyaksha Agamam. That means something you experience first hand. Very important. So what the Sutra says, that to prove Bhakti, to prove the efficacy of Bhakti and the fact it is the easiest path and the most beneficial, etc., 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 you don't need, it is not depending on any other proofs. Because no other proof can give it, support it. It is its own support. Pratyaksha Pramanam is what Bhakti is. Now, that Bhakti, when you experience it, what form does it take? Now, what form does sweetness take? If I were to ask you, how will you answer that? Sweetness. We all know, we all like sweet things. Sweetness has got many forms. It comes in the form of loving words, kind action, maybe a piece of dessert, maybe a piece of chocolate, or some Mysore pak, or whatever, or sugar. So many forms sweetness takes. But what is the form of sweetness? You cannot say it. You can only experience it, taste it. And when you taste it, then you know its form. That's what's coming in 60, Sutra number 60. This Bhakti, which is only Pratyaksha Pramanam, Swayam Pramanatvat, that is Pratyaksha Pramanam. That one, he says, once you experience it, then you realize what its form is. And what is its form? Shanti Rupat Parama Ananda Rupat Cha. That is the form of, we saw earlier, Prema Swarupa, right? Prema Rupa, Amrita Rupam, all those things Bhagavan Narada described in different ways. Now, he's saying Shanti Rupat Parama Ananda Rupat. This Parama Anandam is something, Anandam, we all experience happiness. Parama Anandam means it's Anandam not of this world. Impossible. You cannot explain. All the happiness we experience in this world are all related to our senses. Right? Because everything is external related. Therefore, they got Anandam coming with misery and then Anandam like that. So come they become sin. Now, this Parama Anandam is beyond this manifested world. Because as Purushottam says, only one part of the sweetness is manifested here in this Vishwam, in this universe. The three parts, that is in the Amritam, that is immortality, sweetness itself. So that when I love Bhagavan, I become peaceful immediately. Honestly, for a kshanam, for a moment, if I focus on Bhagavan, that kshanam, that moment, I'm absolutely at peace. No worries, no agitations, nothing. Now the kshanam can become longer and longer. That is what we are talking of, right? So Shanti Rupate, Parama Ananda Rupate. The Anandam that you gain, experience in loving God, in the path of Bhakti, in this divine, beautiful pathway, as Tyagaraja calls it as the Shakkani Raja, which is a royal road to Bhagavan. That pathway is so full of sweetness, so full of amedi, shantam it is. And then where there is shantam, there is bliss. Bliss is something not of this world. We can use the word bliss. We can spell it in English and all that, and say it in Sanskrit and all that. No. It does not exist in this world. This world exists in that bliss, but that bliss does not exist in this world. Parama Ananda Rupatvate. That is what he says. And in Bhagavad Gita, in Sankhya Yogam, Bhagavan describes this. and very beautifully. And if you look at, you can jot it down in chapter 2, which is Sankhya Yogam, and the slokam is 70. If you were to look at that, you will see, I'm going to read that to you in English, in the translation in English for you. Just as rivers, they take refuge in the expansive and ever peaceful ocean. Have you ever seen a river merge with the sea? It's a phenomenal experience. So much joy and enthusiasm with which that river comes and merges. So much activity it is, dynamic. It's so fast it's coming. It doesn't come slow. It comes very fast, running to merge with like a child running to its mother it is. And this is on one side as the river comes and joins. And the ocean mother receives it very happily. But that's it. Right then and there, it's all peaceful ocean. There is no dynamism of the river there. There is no agitation. It's nothing but peace. It's a beautiful thing. If you have not, those of you who have not seen actually a river merge with ocean, I suggest you take time to do that. You can go to Dwaraka, for example. That's where I saw that. So, just as rivers take refuge in the expansive and ever peaceful ocean, he whose desires take refuge in the indweller attains peace. And he who chases desires does not attain peace. And he who gives up all desires and lives without any attachment and without the feeling, I am the doer and mine, mamakaram and ahamkaram, he attains peace. This peace, my dear Partha, and peace we say Shanti, 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 Shanti. We say 3 times normally. And if you look at it beautifully, etymologically, Sanskrit word, Shanti, Sa, Anti, Shankara, Sambho, that Sa, Anti, the beneficent, supreme, most blissful, Anti means end. So, that's where peace is, that's where bliss is. And Bhagavan says, this peace, my dear Partha, is a state of oneness with Brahman. Having attained it, he will never fall prey to attachment. He firmly and unshakably stays in this state even at the time of exhaling his last breath, becoming Brahman itself. This Shanti is what Narada is talking about. This bhakti, the thing that Gopikas experience. Shanti Rupate, Parama Ananda Rupate Cha. One more, 61. Lokahano Chinta Na Karya Nivedita Atma Loka Vedatvate. So a bhakta, what does he do? Lokahanau Chinta Na Karya. Lokahanau. We all live in this world, and yes, there will be difficulty, there will be losses, there will be challenges, there will be achievements, there will be disappointments, all the miseries, because Anityam Asukam Imam Lokam. That's what Bhagavan himself says. This lokam is temporary and full of misery only, And it's like you cannot go into a non-vegetarian hotel in Chennai and ask for Vendya Korba or something like that, right? You have to go to a place where you get what you want. And in this world, you cannot get bliss. This is what Bhagavan's saying is. So, Lokahana, all the difficulties we have, and the losses and the miseries and all that, when they happen to us, everybody it happens, in this world, regardless of your scholarship or lack of it, or wealth or lack of it, or your age or whatever. And what we don't know is when it would happen. None of us knows that. And Lokahano, when they happen, associated with the worldly matters, Chinta na karya. He is not worried. He is not worried about it because he has given his yoga kshemam to Bhagavan. Remember? Yogakshemam Tejati. He's not worried about the losses and all that. They happen. It's all passing cloud. So he's not worried. Nivedita Atma Loka Vedatvate. Nivedita. That here, Naivedya means to announce to Bhagavan. But what he is saying here is Nivedita Atma, his own self, Lokam, all the things that's happening in the world, Vedatvata, all the knowledge and the scholarship that he has acquired, and the arrogance and pride that are associated with that, the titles that people may give you because of what you have read and all this, all the things, everything, Nivedita. Okay? He tells Bhagavan, Swami, these all belong to you. Like the way when we do Naivedyam, after puja, what do we say? All this, we always do this Panchapranangal. All this actually you only doing it. It's an announcement you make, and not me, it's you. That's the announcement we make. So he does that, Nivedita. He tells myself, the whole world, all the things that's happening to me, and whatever I have, scholarship, etc., everything is you only, Swami, not me. So it's only you. It belongs to you. Nivedita. So he surrenders, offers, and speaks the truth to Bhagavan. Not me, it is you. That is Nivedita. And because a Bhakta does this, Lokahanau Chinta Na Karya Nivedita Atma Loka Vedatvate. And you might want to look into Bhagavad Gita slokams, Bhakti Yoga, slokam 17 and 18 if you want. That also talks about the same thing. And next Monday, with Bhagavan's grace, we will take up Sutra number 62. Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.